Welcome to today's episode of Decentralized TV. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host, Todd Pittner. Welcome to the show, Todd. We have a really great guest today. I know you're super excited to also interview our guest, but welcome.
Thank you, Mike. How are the storms out in Texas?
Well, the storms have already passed through. We're doing fine. We got lots of water that we desperately needed, so we're really happy about that. And I've finally chased the 300-pound wild hog off my ranch property, so it's no longer tearing things up. But let's jump right to our guest today, because we have a very special guest who's just one of the highlights of America today and of the independent media. It's Mr. Gerald Celente of TrendsJournal.com. Welcome, Mr. Celente. It's an honor, sir, to have you on.
Well, it's an honor to be on your show, and thank you for all that you do. You know, you said about chasing a 300-pound hog. I see them walking up and down the street every day.
Well, chase them off when you get the chance.
Look what this country has. We're one of the most obese countries in the world. When I was a young guy, they used to have a thing called the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. They went out of business. You know why? You don't have to step right up, see the fat man, see the tattooed lady, see the lady with the beard. They're walking up and down the street all over the place.
Yeah, true.
So what are you talking about? A big deal about a hog? They're everywhere. I mean, it's so heartbreaking to see the decline of this country.
Yeah.
And I want to make something really clear, by the way. You know, facts don't matter for most people. As my father would say to me when I started learning, he'd say, son, take it easy. People have little minds. And when I would repeat what people were saying, you know, and the media, the mainstream media, and repeating, he looked at me and he said in Italian, "Papagallo, parrot, stop repeating what everybody else is saying and think for yourself." So what I'm saying is, to me, the only way things are going to change is with a renaissance. And that is to bring America back to the spirit of my parents and grandparents and the founding fathers long before them generation. We have to bring this country back to the spirit of what America used to be and why people all over the world wanted to come here.
Well, you're exactly...
Anyway, I'm just saying a renaissance to me is the only way it could happen.
I completely agree, Gerald, and what you're saying is completely true. And let me add this, that your parents, my parents, all of our grandparents, Todd's parents and grandparents, all of, especially the older generations, they lived in a difficult time. They had to struggle. They had to work. They had to work hard. And even us as kids, I know all of us here worked like, you know, I delivered pizzas, I mowed lawns, I loaded boxes for UPS when I was in college. We worked. We weren't afraid to work. Today, the kids don't want to work at all. They're too privileged. So how do we get to that revolution when the culture's so corrupted?
You need the money to do it. You know, I love jazz. You know, I was the number 2 guy running a major trade association. And after our trade show, we put on an event for the people that exhibited. And I took over the Superdome in the late 70s and put one on for Ella Fitzgerald.
Really?
Yeah. And by the way, we went backstage, and my wife at the time, Ella Fitzgerald, said to my wife, I introduced myself as the person put on, she said to her that you look like my goddaughter Carmen, who lives in Harlem. I took over the Superdome, did one with Dionne Warwick. You know, I'm a real jazz fan. Without going back, I began as a kid, I was a great clarinet player, but I didn't keep it going. And anyway, without going through the whole story, but anyway, there's a great jazz song where the cat says, entertain the people, you understand? Everybody knows that Taylor Swift gets screwed last night. I mean, they don't know anything about the facts. That's what they know about. We have to do it through entertainment. And going back to a renaissance, remember when there were instruments and I didn't have to listen to this boom, 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 stupid shit synthesized crap? A renaissance? You know, they got it wrong in the King James Bible. They say the meek shall inherit the earth. The geeks have inherited the earth. Look at that little Zuckerberg clown boy. Look at that little Cook. Yeah, Cook, you're burnt out, man. Oh, how about Gates? Look at the way they dress. Look at the way they look. They destroyed the humanity with synthesization. And now it's going to AI. How about bringing it back to the human spirit? So going back, how does it happen? You need a renaissance, and you need to do it with entertainment, with movies, with music. You have to bring this, and you can't do it without a lot of dough, because the Black Plague preceded the Renaissance. Over 60% of Europe was wiped out. But because of their filthy sanitation, they were killing themselves. So again, stupid people forever, ever. You like the Peloponnesian War? I'm saying it's just been going on forever. They wouldn't be able to do it without the Medicis, the banksters of the day. You need the dough to do it. And to me, a renaissance would happen like that because the people, again, like I said, when I was a young guy, I grew up during the sexual revolution. Chicks were wearing mini skirts. Now everybody's in dungarees, and if you're going to wear a skirt, it's going to be a maxi skirt. All the style's gone. You got to bring back the style of America that the whole world wanted to come to. By the way, Louis Armstrong, they used to call him the ambassador of goodwill. He was going all around the world during the Cold War. There's a great line to him too. He's playing with from the Queen of England, and he goes to her, and this one's for you, Queenie. I mean, he's a real man. Eisenhower took him all around.
Wow.
But it was America that everybody wanted to come to, and now you read the articles of how many people are getting the hell out of here.
Yeah. Well, there are so many challenges to this renaissance, this revolution that you're talking about. And what we want to jump to here today is, for our audience and the show, Decentralized TV, is how can people take back their freedom by wresting control from the centralized control grid that controls people's thoughts, news, money, knowledge, science, culture, everything from Hollywood and the pop music industry that you were just mentioning. So I want to bring in Todd Pittner here for the first question, because he's done tremendous research to not to stump you, Gerald, but to tap into your wealth of knowledge. You can't stump Gerald Celente, but
nobody gets it right all the time.
No, but go ahead, Todd.
Thank you. And really, for the benefit of our viewers, I just want to set the table a little bit because your history is so rich. You are expert in forecasting our economy, markets, and social trends. And during my research, I read you said the smaller communities, the smaller groups, the smaller states, the more self-sustaining communities will weather this crisis in style as big cities and hypertrophic suburbias descend into misery and conflict. And you forecast a downsizing of America. So our show, as Mike shared, is all about helping others decentralize their lives, establish self-sufficiency, and prepare for the societal transformation that will certainly accompany the downsizing of America that you evangelize. Let's talk financial decentralization. How do globalist financial agendas like ESG, CBDCs, and carbon credits fit into the centralized control grid that you've warned us about? And how do people offset the challenges that they are going to present?
Yeah, it's very difficult to offset. And when you talk about CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, and look what's going on with the Trump club over there. Everything's being talked about, stable coins, on and on and on. If they're going to you go to China, nobody's using cash or any credit card. It's just, everything's digitized. So when everything's digitized, they know every penny you spent, where you spent it, what you spent it on. They know more about you, everything about you, to control more of you. And most importantly, they get your tax money. That's the most important thing. Because this these people that people call politicians, all they do is suck off the public tit all their lives, can't get a job in the real world, so they need your money to keep on going. So there's no way I see around it. And what you do to, again, we don't give financial advice. Is this why you go into precious metals? Because they're going to be very precious, more and more so as things become more and more digitized. And by the way, if there was no digitization and centralization, central bank digital currencies, it would be a very different world in gold. The prices would be more than double what they are. The future of the world, like it or not, is AI. Again, as I said, the geeks have inherited the earth. And you look at all the companies that are firing people and putting AI in. And this is very important. There's going to be a dot-com bust because China, love it, hate it, want it, don't want it. As trend forecaster, you don't care, just look at the facts. They're going to take over the AI world. Before Bill Clinton brought him into the World Trade Organization, back in 2000, only 10% of the Chinese 18-year-olds went to college. Today, it's nearly 70%. Going back to everything that you're talking about, digitization and all of this, the world, the young people are totally digitized. This is their world. They're high-tech out.
And they can't wait to be Neuralinked. They're looking forward to being turned into cyborgs.
You got it. And now you got all these kids in China now, some 70% going to college. And they're all addicted to this stuff.
Sure.
And you saw what happened with DeepSeek back in January. All of a sudden, nobody ever heard of a DeepSeek. Oh, we don't need your big NVIDIA chips. We did it with smaller chips. Oh, and it didn't cost us $100 million to do AI. It only cost us $6 million. Oh, and now we're the most used AI in the world. Oh, but we won't talk about that. There's going to be a dot-com bust. They overinvested in these new companies. Trends are born, they grow, they mature, reach old age, and die. AI was only born 3 years ago. You don't invest everything in the first companies.
Gerald, when you say there's going to be a dot-com bust, which sectors of tech are you saying are going to bust?
All the ones that not all the ones, a lot of the ones with the companies that are very heavily invested in the big chips, in everything going AI.
Oh, I see. So the companies that are building these big, expensive data centers in the U.S.?
Data centers, the big, the power plants to power the stuff. You're not going to need these big chips. And the trend was just born. It's going to be synthesized. It's going to be brought down. They're going to come up with much more advanced than what they have. And China is going to lead the charge. They're going the old way. They're not going the future.
Yeah, we've seen that Trump's tariffs against China, I shouldn't even call them tariffs, the trade restrictions of technology being exported to China, such as the microchip lithography equipment or other equipment, in some intellectual property. This has not stopped China from spearheading its development in this area.
Exactly. And they're going to escalate it. And I'm telling you the reason why. They're putting, again, we wrote about it in the Trends Journal. And again, the Trends Journal is a weekly magazine. It's over 200 pages. We have 2 sections of AI in the magazine: high-tech science, technocracy, geopolitics, economics. So I mean, we're going to AI very deep.
Just let me jump in. Trendsjournal.com. We're showing the screen for your website here, trendsjournal.com. And it's an amazing, talk about intel about the world, like, you know, the intelligence of what's coming, the trends that are in play. If you click subscribe here, you can save 10% by using discount code RANGER, which helps support our program as well, because we're an affiliate. But there's the website, trendsjournal.com. Check it out. Sorry to interrupt, Gerald.
No, thank you. Yeah, please do. Here, look. This is the Sunday edition of the New York Times. They call themselves the paper of record. I call them the toilet paper of record. Look at this is the business section. Once upon a time, there used to be copy, there used to be stories,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, open up any page. Here, look. Page
Wow.
after page. They're giving you nothing. You know how much this cost? $6.
That's Gerald.
$6. The Trends Journal, when you put your code in, it's $2.50 a week. A week. Less than a crummy cup of coffee.
It's nothing. But Gerald, to your point, I was just looking at PDF scans of newspapers from the 1970s.
Yeah.
Here in America.
Yep.
And you actually had to be a much higher IQ person in the 1970s to read the newspaper. And they were filled with information, like narrow columns, like the front page would have like 9 columns or something filled with information. And the writing, the vocabulary was a much higher standard than what we have today.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Journalism's dead. Again, here's one of my T-shirts that I did years ago. This is one of the guys responsible for this. A little boy that every time he got caught with his pants down, bombs away over Baghdad. Remember that guy? Yeah. Beware of Slick Willie.
Yeah. Right.
All right. I didn't have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. She always sucked my dick. Oh, yeah, I got it. This is the guy that killed journalism with the 1996 Federal Communications Act when he deregulated the industry, the media industry. Before that, there were things like if you had owned a radio station, you couldn't own a newspaper or a television station. That's not exactly what it was, but things like that. There were thousands of independent radio stations, newspapers, and television stations before that clown boy, that little arrogant nothing of a jerk off over there in Arkansas, who got what, the Walmart gang? Yeah. A little nobody that's worth now, what, hundreds of millions of dollars? Gets paid like $300,000, $400,000 to give a talk to the Goldman Sachs gang when you can hear him BS for nothing. Yeah, it's payback. Anyway, the Federal Communications Act, now 6 companies control 92% of the media in America.
Yep. And it's all dumbed down and scripted. So that's the centralization that we are warning about, right? So again, this show is about how to decentralize your life, how to take your power back from those central systems. Todd, go ahead with your next question as we shift to that.
Gerald, we talk a lot about gold and silver, precious metals, of course, and with regards to cryptocurrency, we advocate private crypto. There are several that are out there. And my question is now, is there a risk that the governments will outlaw or severely restrict decentralized assets like crypto or gold? And if so, how can people prepare or resist?
Yes, they can definitely steal you anything that they want. They did it back in 1933. I'll tell you a quick story. My father, may he rest in peace, he tells me one day out of nowhere, I'm a teenager. He said, I was at your grandfather's house. I was dating your mother, 1933. And he said, I go in and your grandfather's wrapping up all his gold. And I said, Pop, what are you doing? He said, why are you doing this? He said to me, the president wants our gold and I'm a true American and I'm going to give it the gold. My father said, don't do that. He said, your grandfather started cursing at me in Italian. He gave him all the gold. That was 1933. They stole the gold from the American people for $20.67 an ounce.
Wow.
The next year, the Gold Reserve Act. They increased the value of gold by 70% and brought it up to $35. Mm-hmm. So after they stole the gold from the people, they brought up the price. So Trump keeps talking about going into Fort Knox. I mean, they know it's in Fort Knox. So they may come out and say that we have to return our gold. And then Trump might do the same thing that FDR did. After he gets all our gold, they jack up the price. Or he may even do it before then and not take our gold and say we jacked up the price of gold. We had all more gold than anybody in the world. So now we're getting rid of our debt level, which depending on whose numbers you look at, no, it's not 36 trillion. It's more like either 100 trillion or 220 trillion with Social Security and all the other things. So going back to will they do away with digital coins? Yes, I truly believe so. When they come out with central bank digital currencies, they'll ban as many as they want that they're not invested in. Because you have to say what they're not invested in. Go back to Trump. Go back to when he said Bitcoin was destroying the dollar. He hated Bitcoin several years ago. But now his son's in it, the Witkoff, the Lutnick, look at the Commerce Secretary's son, the Middle East envoy's son's in it. Trump's sons are in it. And we said when they got elected, we got over $100 million from the crypto club. We said crypto's prices are going to skyrocket. They've gone up 50%. They're all into this thing. So you got to see what they're into. What they're not into, that's what they'll take out so they can make more dough.
But Gerald, how are they going to take out gold? I mean, unless somebody like back in the 1930s where your grandfather was like, here, take my gold. My answer is what gold? I mean, unfortunately, I had that boating accident a while back, Gerald, that I lost it all. Lost my private crypto. I lost my gold, my silver. Wow. But if I had it, I would absolutely pay into Caesar.
I understand. Caesar. Yeah, I lost everything too.
But let me.
Yeah, no, but there are the people that will follow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
All right, here. Let me make this really clear how stupid the people could be. A little boy with a pair of cojones smaller than a mothball. A little arrogant, stupid clown boy of nothing. George W. Bush. My daddy was President Bush. My uncle was Prescott Bush. A little jerk. We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive. That's a quote. 90% of the people supported the Afghan war. 90% of the people swallow the crap coming out of that little moron, arrogant clown boy's mouth. All right? They'll get back to gold.
Now, look, let me throw something else at you here, Gerald, which is related to this. It seems to me that right now, the Treasury is unable to find buyers for all the Treasury debt, right? And so the Fed's printing the money to buy the debt. But it seems to me that the Trump clan is on the verge of launching a government-backed stablecoin.
Yep.
And the stablecoin is going to be backed by what? Treasuries. So they're going to convince everybody in America, hey, you're all going to get rich. You just buy this stablecoin, hand over your dollars, and then those dollars will be used to prop up treasuries so the government can print more dollars and go into more debt. They found new buyers. It's the American suckers. Like
Mike, you're saying it perfect. You're saying it like nobody else.
It's just another level of the Ponzi is what it looks like.
You got it. But again, you see, that's being disrespectful to Italians. They call them the Ponzi.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
How about the Goldman gang, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Diamond. How about the diamonds? You know, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Oh, not that diamond, you know. Oh, by the way, one of the things that really got me aggravated this week, King Charles III went to Canada, and he's sitting on a throne. What King Charles III? If they were Italian, they'd be the mafia, this gang, the royal family. Murderers with a centuries of slaughtering people all over the world with the sun never sets on the British Empire.
That's right.
And you see this little jerk with all these little medals on his shirt. And he said, what a freak show. And that's what's running the show. Here's a quote. If you do not take an interest in the affairs of your government, then you are doomed to live under the rules of fools. And there you saw it. That was Plato. That's what we're living under, the rules of fools. The king. Get the hell out of here. Here, king. Here, boys. Sit. Give me your paw. What king you talking about? And that's the crap that they put. All right. Oh, look at that Mertz guy again. That over there.
Chancellor of Germany. Yeah.
Yeah. He's with Zelensky. You see all the red carpets they rolled out all over the place?
It's unbelievable.
You see all those little boys all dressed up in their costumes saluting?
Well, Gerald, I wanted to ask you about Mertz, and because Germany he just announced over the weekend that Ukraine could use German cruise missiles at unlimited range to attack targets deep within Russia, including, of course, Moscow, which is not even that far into Russia. And then the Russian officials responded by saying, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, well, this makes Germany a legitimate target. So, Gerald, what is wrong with the minds of the leaders of Germany and the UK and even France? Macron, another nut job over there. Have they all lost their minds?
This is who they are. You read the quote from Eisenhower. Any man seeking the office of president is either crazy or an egomaniac.
But it seems like they're suicide cultists.
That's what they
are suicide.
They're crazy people. They're narcissistic freaks. By the way, I was the assistant to the secretary of the New York State Senate. I got a picture and I picked up Ronald Reagan and put a brunch on for 16 of our board of directors. I was 30 years old, 1976. It's a freak show. The people that are in politics are slime balls that can't get a job in the real world, that suck off the public tit the rest of their lives. If they were murderers and thieves in a gang, you know who they are. But because they put on a different costume and talk a different way, people think they're different than the murderers of the gang. Like I said, they shoved down our throat the royal family. Look at the murderous track record of these people. The sun never sets on the British Empire. We can kill anybody we want. All right.
But right now, of course, the British Empire, from a military point of view, is a pathetic joke, right? Those days are over. But they're still in their minds. They're still living in this delusion that they can defeat Russia somehow.
Again, you don't ask a crazy person why they're crazy.
Right.
They're crazy, arrogant pieces of scum. And if you call these guys out man to man, as we say in the Bronx, they don't know whether to piss or shit. They fold like that. They fold
true.
like that.
Well, let me,
again,
before we go on.
There. I quit my job. I hated it up there. To watch grown men grovel to suck their way up to the top. My best friend, Brian Donahue's wife, became lieutenant governor. Nobody could believe I was quitting.
I know you had a very lucrative, promising, powerful career path ahead of you that you intentionally stepped away from because you're a person of morality, Gerald. So that's to your credit because you have morals, you have values. But I want to ask you, trendsjournal.com, I want to ask you, what is your assessment of the situation between Russia and Ukraine and Germany? This whole thing, is peace going to be found on whose terms? You know what I mean? What's your take?
There is not going to be peace. And you go back to the Trends Journal, February 22nd, 2022. 2 days before the Ukraine war began. 2 days before it began. Headline. From COVID war to Ukraine war to World War. World War III has already begun. What you were talking about, Mike, about Mertz is saying. I just want to read you a couple of headlines from different newspapers. Germany directly engages in war with Russia. That's Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister. That's from TASS News Agency. Turkey and Belgium will join the drone coalition for Ukraine. Turkey, they're $2.7 billion in euro support for the Ukraine war this year. And they call it the drone coalition, and they're building more drones. Russia prepared, that was from UNN site. This is from RT. Russia prepared to strike Germany in response to Taurus attacks. Those are the missiles that you were talking about.
They can take out the Taurus factory with the Oreshnik missile system that Russia has.
Yeah.
Easily.
Russia threatens, quote, harsh response if Germany threatens Taurus missiles to Ukraine. Germany has agreed, you ready? A new $5 billion euro aid package for Ukraine.
Wow.
Germany to lift Ukraine aid. Okay? Those are just some of the articles. And again, we detail this in the Trends Journal over and over and over and over and over again. One of my sayings, Mike and Todd, is when all else fails, they take you to war.
I quote you on that all the time.
Thank you.
And also, when people lose everything, they lose it.
Yeah, when people have to lose everything and nothing left to lose, they lose it. And that's, let's go back to Germany. 2 years they're in recession. Last 2 years. They're heading into recession this year. We're going to build up our military and we are going to create jobs. We're borrowing $1 trillion. Oh, and they changed the Constitution that prohibited Germany from doing that. Germany has no such, making it likely to, blah, blah, blah. Berlin recently adopted a constitutional amendment lifting limits on how much it can spend on defense, including military assistance to allies.
Wow.
All right? So I'm going by the facts. Everybody here, I mean, I could keep going on here. That little clown boy, they got rid of True Dope up there in Canada. Now they got Carney. Carney's military spending will add $64 billion to the economy. All right? All right, here, Canada will join European Union's new defense plan, Rearm Europe, R-E, capital A-R-M.
Wow.
When all else fails, they take you to war. All these economies are failing. Germany's the third largest economy in the world in recession. All the economies are going down. The largest economy in Europe. And before, Mike, you were talking about treasuries. Look what's going on in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
All right. It's one country after another going down economically.
And Gerald, may I submit, you know who doesn't care? Who really doesn't care about Clown World's newfound strategies? Vladimir Putin. He's just going to keep on keeping on, and he's going to take Ukraine,
Yep.
I submit, and nobody's going to do anything about it. And it's just a clown show at this point in time.
I've been saying that for years. I agree with you. Here, I don't think Putin's going to take it. By the way, here's our magazine, the Trends Journal, back in 2014. See how happy that guy is? That's the United States overthrow the democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych in Ukraine that nobody knows the facts about. And on and on and on and on. NATO would not move 1 inch further. The deal made between Gorbachev and Bush Sr. There were 16 NATO countries. Now there are 32.
And that was the Victoria Nuland operation.
That's right.
To take over Ukraine.
Yeah,
And then, Jake Sullivan came in later. The State Department was running this whole thing and then blaming Russia for the special military operation, saying it was an unprovoked aggression by Russia. It was provoked. It was provoked from 2014 on.
And this is why people need to go to your site and listen to what you're saying, because what you're saying most 99.9% of the people don't know. They still
true.
hate Russia without knowing the facts. This is an article in the Trends Journal back then. Washington is driving the world to the final war. And I'm going to note this because of what you just said. This was an article by Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, former Assistant Treasury Secretary under Ronald Reagan. Washington concluded that Russia needed to be confronted with or distracted by problems that would leave the Russian government less confident or able to counter Washington's aggression elsewhere. You ready? Ukraine presented the perfect opportunity for Washington to advance its hegemonic agenda. In a speech at the National Press Club last December, meaning 2013, Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland boasted that Washington had invested $5 billion in non-governmental organizations, NGOs, in Ukraine for the purpose to teach democracy.
Here's where I look at that and I'm just very cynical. I don't believe we invested $5 billion. I don't think to these NGOs because it never made it there. It just goes and then it comes back. It boomerangs back to the people who are, in Washington and the deep state and everybody that's there. That's why it's like, who literally, why I say that Putin doesn't care is because he already has control over of the 5 territories. He's not just going to give it back.
But Todd, I would say that some of that NGO money just ended up in the hands of local CIA operations that ran color revolutions and ran. Remember
Absolutely.
In 2014, they had the big uprising, but it was completely staged.
Absolutely.
Like Antifa. It was like Antifa in Ukraine, basically.
Yep.
But what they say it's going for, it's not going for.
That's right.
That's my point.
Of course, nothing. But again, so they're going to, it's a very dangerous situation right now. And it's only going to get much worse as we see it. They're going to keep ramping up this war. And again, I agree. Putin's not going to give back the 20% of the territory that they got. And again, the Crimea issue, it was part of Russia for a long time.
Yeah, they don't want to go back.
They had a vote in 2014. 97% of the people voted to leave Ukraine and go with the Russian Federation. And that was monitored by the major poll that these things that do it. It was totally legitimate. But he's not going to give back any of the land that they've gotten. So that's why I say there's not going to be any peace. No, and again, once upon a time, and I'd love for Mike to be here the next time when we have our peace rally, and we'll talk about it to get you here in September. I read George Washington's farewell address. And he says, basically, don't get involved in these foreign entanglements. This crap has been going on for thousands of years, and it's none of our business, and we're not going to fix it. And that's the whole Ukraine thing's been going on. It was back and forth. Part of Russia, not Russia, is Russia, it wasn't Russia. What the hell do I care about this stuff? My country's rotting in front of my eyes. Mm-hmm. I'm going to fix this.
Gerald, this is why we have to pivot to the Iran question also. Oh. This is so critical. And, we don't have that many minutes left in this interview. The time has gone so quickly. But
wow,
Netanyahu is a murderous, genocidal war criminal. When he comes to the U.S., he gets standing ovations by our compromised, spineless U.S. Congress and senators. They're cheering genocide and mass starvation of Palestinian children. Do you think, Gerald, that if Israel attacks Iran and leads the attack by itself, that Trump will give in and come to Israel's defense when Iran retaliates?
Absolutely.
Wow.
So Trump's owned by Netanyahu.
Yeah, he's owned by the Zionist crew. Hey, listen, I just got $100 million from Sheldon Adelson. I'm moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. All right. Oh, Israel. You know that land you stole from the Syrians, the Golanites? It's yours. And how much more? $100 million did he get from Sheldon Adelson's wife? There's some
Yeah.
people say over 200 million. Look at the Zionist crew he has in there. That little Huckleberry, Huckle Jerk.
Oh gosh, yeah. The guy,
All right.
pro starvation. That
Yeah.
guy is, yeah.
You know, you know, you said it's spineless. They're spineless. And again, I'm tired of hearing this fairy tale like Huckleberry throws out the slob of crap out of his mouth. God gave this land to Israel 3,500 years ago. Hey, got some. Was God got lockjaw? Never talked to anybody other but Abraham? Hey, God, where are you? I got to believe this fairy tale of yours.
Yeah. And it's used to justify mass extermination. But
Yeah.
my point is, aside from the morality of this, where we all have the same agreement that we defend the lives of innocent children and civilians and et cetera, but there are massive economic, even end of nation implications for the US empire if we get drawn into a war with Iran.
You're 100% correct. It'll be the beginning and end of life on Earth. It'll be nuclear war. Here's the deal. Iran has 91 million people. There are about 7 million Jewish people living in Israel. Iran is very advanced technologically, militarily, and scientifically. They go to war against Israel. Israel goes to war against them. There's a thing called the Samson option, SAMSON. Israel says if they lose, they go nuclear. And they have between 200 to 400 nuclear warheads. That's what'll happen. What you called Netanyahu, by the way, I forgot the exact words you said. You could use that same phrase for all the other people we were talking about that are playing the heads of government. Netanyahu, you know, again, as you said, you quote me about it, when all else fails, they take you to war. Let's go back to the Israel war. Let's go back to when he gets into office in December of 2022, Netanyahu, and he passes a Judicial Reform Act, he tries to, that says you're not going to be able to take me to court for all the crimes that they say I committed.
That's right.
And we're going to do away with the courts and the politicians will be in charge. There were 39 weeks of protest going on in Israel. Major. Not my language, the language of Isaac Herzog, the president of Israel. In 2023, there was a civil war going on in Israel. Totally forgotten. Hamas attacks on October 7th, all forgotten. And we only write in the Trends Journal the facts. 3 days later, reports came out that the United States and Egypt had warned Netanyahu and Israel that this attack was going to happen. They let it happen. Not my data. The data that we write in the Trends Journal comes from Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper, which we subscribe to, and all the others that we subscribe to, whether we go to Tehran News, Tehran Times, Press TV. We see what everybody has to say. All the facts are out there that anybody wants to see, that Netanyahu knew this was going to happen and let it happen. And
So
he's
that he
only
could
going to
shore up-
continue to escalate it. This, by the way, is the clown boy that came to Congress that warned us that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, he's been operating for decades with the same thing, dragging the U.S. into wars in the Middle East to destroy Israel's enemies. Look what the U.S. did to Libya. Look at Gaddafi. Libya was a well-functioning society before it was named by Netanyahu as a target that the U.S. should take out. Now look at Libya. Total economic devastation continues to this day.
It was the richest country in Africa.
Yeah.
It was a tourist attraction for people all over the world. It totally done. Same thing he did to Syria. Syria was a tourist capital, all the ancients of everything. Again, one after another. They took it down. Oh, and who brought it down? The Nobel Peace of Crap Prize winner, Barack Obama.
Yeah.
So true. But how can...
Folks, he's always folking us. Folks, that was Obama. Folks.
how can people protect themselves from
Okay.
the shattering of, oil prices would skyrocket, energy supplies would be devastated,
Yep.
supply chains crumble. What can people do in
Again,
anticipation
we
of
don't
this?
give financial advice, but here's our advice. Bitcoin is a gamble, but it's a gambler's game, and you look at the facts of who's gambling. That's, so we're very bullish on a number of those things considering what's going on. And to us, again, we don't give financial advice. You look at our top trend for 2024, golden year for gold. Gold was $2,000 an ounce, $2,041. Now, as we're speaking, it's about $3,320. Gold is going to be the world's #1 safe haven. And it's the beginning of the death of the dollar. That's also important to understand. The world has had enough of America's hegemony, as we were talking about, not only geopolitics, but economics. And now the debt levels are going to keep increasing in the United States. You see what's going on with the Treasury deals. Gold is the #1 safe haven asset. Again, we have all these articles in the Trends Journal going on and on and on about the problems going on in the economic world. And they're only going to get much, 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 much worse. It's the facts are there. Again, Germany's the largest economy in the world. They're in a recession. You see what's going on in Japan, Europe. They're not coming back. Things are only going to get worse. Gold is it. Gold, and then silver #2, and Bitcoin #3, as we see.
Can I ask you about the long-term fallout of the Japanese treasury carry trade fallout? I mean, it seems like there's a lot of exposure across the U.S. of U.S. pensions and hedge funds and family funds, and that has not unraveled yet, but it's coming.
No, it hasn't unraveled in America yet. Look at what's going on with that.
Right. So, there's a lot more damage yet to come.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Here are a couple of articles why we say about why you go into crypto. I mean, these are we go to all the different media. TMTG to raise $3 billion for crypto splurge as Trump flies flag for digital currency. I mean, you see one after another, all the people that are getting involved in it. And so it's going to continue to escalate as we see it.
But the reason why with Bitcoin they're behind this, Gerald, is because Bitcoin is a surveillance coin.
Oh, yeah.
And so they know everybody who has it, what they do with it. So it's just like
it's like a CBDC.
A CBDC, absolutely. They want to encourage it. That's why it's probably going to do really, really well.
Yep.
But it is what it is. And that's why, we evangelize private cryptocurrency. But yeah, cash, crypto, metals, what other tangible goods might people consider, Gerald, when the hits the fan? Because I think many people are trapped in centralized systems out of necessity right now, jobs, healthcare, education. So we like to be able to advocate what are the steps that you'd recommend to be able to unplug, and that would be a equitable distribution amongst crypto, Bitcoin, cash, gold. What do you say, Gerald, as far as a distribution percentage-wise?
Well, I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
If somebody has some discretionary income or some savings.
Well, but he doesn't give personal financial advice, just to be clear.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
But all right, I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Bitcoin, unfortunately, I didn't buy enough. Gold, I've been buying for years.
Mm-hmm.
One of my books, Trend Tracking, far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine. I began buying gold when the Iranian conflict broke out in 1978.
Mm-hmm.
And real estate. I'm bullish on real estate.
Okay.
In the right place in the right time. And now isn't the time for some, but time for others. So real estate is it's still a positive. I own 3 pre-Revolutionary War stone buildings on the most historic 4 corners in America.
Wow.
The 1750, 1763, and 1774.
Wow.
The other
I love
building is
that.
a museum. And I bought these buildings because the seeds of democracy was sown here.
Mm.
It's Kingston, New York, the first capital of New York State. And 70% of the Constitution that was written for New York State is America's Constitution. That's why I bought them. And I own other buildings. So I believe real estate, gold, and whatever cryptocurrency you believe in. I believe in Bitcoin, number 1.
Okay, so look, we want to be respectful of your time, Gerald, and we're up on the hour. So, of course, we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more. I want to encourage people to go to your website, trendsjournal.com, subscribe to your Trends Journal. There's a subscribe button right here. Just click on that. It's a couple dollars a week. You know, it's hardly anything, but the information is priceless. Use discount code RANGER. You'll save off the subscription. I think it's 10%. And we're an affiliate, so that'll help support our program a little bit as well. So, Gerald, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap this up today?
Yeah, that gives you, again, it's only $2.50 a week when you get your 10% off. And I have to tell you, I've never worked harder in my life. Mm-hmm. And I showed you before what they're not giving you any news anymore. So we have to go all around the world to get more and more and more and more information. So we only put data down. So like the Israel war, we go to Haaretz, Israel News, Times of Israel, Jerusalem Post. We go to IRNA, ISNA, Tehran Times, Press TV, anything Iranians, Arab News, Al Jazeera. We go all over the world. Yeah. And so we say, this is what they're saying. This is our analysis. Here's where we see it going. And this is what you might want to do. So we don't take sides on anything except peace. And for everybody that I recommend, we're in the most difficult times of my lifetime, and I've been at this for 45 years. Get in the best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and do something positive every day in any way you can for the true spirit, for me, the American spirit, or whatever country you're listening to, we're from, to support your country in the peaceful way. So it's up to the people to change it. It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men, said Samuel Adams.
Very good.
Amen to that. All right. Gerald, it's always a pleasure having you on.
Thank you for all that you do. And by the way, if you say amen, you got to say a women. I like the other one.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Hey, what's happening, everybody? We had a great hour with Gerald Celente.
As long as you don't say, I self-identify as, and then fill in the blank. Then we stop there.
All right. Well, Gerald, God bless you for all that you do. Keep it up. I'm honored to know you, and we're honored that you took the time to join us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike and Todd. I'm honored that you have me on. Thanks so much. It's great what you're doing.
Thanks, Gerald. You're awesome.
Thanks, Gerald. Yep. Take care now, Gerald. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
And for those of you watching, Todd and I will be right back after this short break with the after party discussion. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Join the official discussion channel for this show on Telegram at t.me/decentralizedtv, where you can ask questions or offer suggestions of who we should interview next. Also be sure to subscribe to the email newsletter on Decentralized.tv, where you'll be alerted about 1 day in advance of each new upcoming episode, before it gets published. On Decentralized.tv, you'll also find links to our video channels and social media channels across all platforms, including Brighteon, Rumble, BitChute, Twitter, Truth Social, and more. Check it all out at Decentralized.tv. All right, welcome back. This is the after party discussion with Todd Pittner and myself following the interview with Gerald Celente. Wow, Todd, isn't it just great to have Gerald on? I love that guy.
It is, and I take this research seriously, and I researched a lot. I have a dozen questions here, and after getting off of the interview, I could only think of that quote where they say, "Man plans, God laughs," and I want to just say, Todd plans, Gerald talks.
Yeah. Well,
and it's amazing. You'll notice I didn't try to insert myself and disrupt it, because that dude is a force of nature, and his stream of consciousness is worth the price of gold.
it's so great to have Gerald as a guest, but when he starts going, he's got such a depth of knowledge
Yeah.
and experience that you just want to let him talk. Just listen. And of course, then I also had questions I wanted to ask him about Germany and about Iran, specifically. So I was jumping in. But you only got a couple questions in. That was
but that's okay. You know what? One of my takeaways is that he's reinforcing my dim view of humanity. Where I talk about how I think 98% of the people are NPCs out there, and you take a look at the trends and people giving back their gold and everything like that. I think his point of view supports it a little bit, that maybe there are just a small percentage of us who are going to have boating accidents for gold and crypto.
Well, what I wanted to really tell Gerald, although I didn't say this, but this is what I'm thinking. When he says we need a renaissance, we need a revolution in America, my answer is that, hey, Gerald, that will only happen if more Americans are like you. Because, Gerald Celente is a hard worker, smart guy. He takes pride in his appearance. He's cultured, he loves jazz. He's highly trained in martial arts over the years. He's a hand-to-hand combat expert.
Wow.
He takes care of his health. He takes care of his spiritual health, all of this. Like, if we had a lot more people like Celente, sure, America would be awesome. But we don't, right? We've got all these low quality people.
We do, but I keep coming back to the fact that the key is, I don't think there's going to be this grand renaissance out there where we're going to be able to hit some kind of magical Control-Alt-Delete and everybody becomes, intelligent again and self-respectful again and hardworking again. I just don't think it works that way. I think that the process out there is taking care of itself. And I think by default, those of us who do possess the ability to critically think and to take care of ourselves and maybe consider alternative whatever, right, to the message through the TV, I think that's where the renaissance is going to come from. But he's right. It only takes a small percentage to really get loud. But we're kind of swimming upstream there too, Mike, with central. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it only takes a small percentage. And I love the fact that Gerald Celente has this Occupy Peace event. He was mentioning it's coming up, later this year. And he's also on with Judge Napolitano, who's typically a speaker at that event, Andrew Napolitano.
Yeah.
And I think Scott Ritter was a speaker at the event last year, et cetera. Gerald's doing more than his share.
Exactly.
Right? To try to bring us peace. But I want to bring this up early, which is your website, my575e.com, because I want to urge our audience right now that given what's coming, world war, sky high oil prices, chaos in the financial markets, this is the time more than ever for people, I believe, to separate their assets into different UNAs, which is what your site is about. But I just want to say that up front before you talk about your site. Isolating your assets, your house should be in one of these UNAs by itself. If you have a car, it should be in a separate one. If you have a boat or jet skis that could injure somebody, that's got to be in its own separate thing. So can you talk about that for a bit?
Yeah, and I do want to share with people, but you only need to start with one so that you can learn about it and understand. True. And then it's like you don't push the river, it'll come to you. It really will. And that's what's really cool, Mike. But you're absolutely right. We need to disassociate from our social security number selves our assets. Nelson Rockefeller coined the phrase own nothing, control everything. And he wasn't talking about being benevolent. It was about him and his family being able to keep more of what they earn, and protect their personal liability, be able to hand down their assets generationally. And Mike, we just achieved a milestone since I've been talking about this on the show of 200 UNA operators. And what I am seeing more and more, to your point you just made, is that people are acquiring these, learning about them, and then they're coming back for a second and a third. And the word of mouth, that's what's really cool. The positive word of mouth has kicked in. But I just really encourage people that, I was going to ask Gerald, Mike, does he have this high expectation that Trump and this administration is going to dissolve the IRS? And I say that, laughing out loud, because
Right.
that's never going to happen because it's too big of a weapon. So that is just don't have that as a false expectation that you're going to hold your breath and wait for that to happen.
Well, let me add to it. Stop thinking that the government is going to save you.
Yeah.
You can take action today to save yourself, to
Right.
help yourself. You don't need to wait for the IRS to shut down, because that's never going to happen. What if there were some other vehicle that was already on the books, already created, that could help you put assets out of reach of lawsuits and confiscations and things like that? But that's what UNAs are all about. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, it is. And there are things that you can do from a financial planning standpoint, especially if you have children. And I really highly encourage people, and many have taken advantage of this, is if you have questions, go to my website, my575e.com, and watch the 90-minute video first, download the PDF. It's an 11-page PDF talking about the 32 positive attributes of operating your own. But then if you have any questions related to your personal scenario, just book a consultation with me. It's $150, but you get it back if you move forward with the UNA. And frankly, most people who book a consultation with me, Mike, end up moving forward with them. The vast majority of them do. But then that way, I can give you increased insights on personal property protection, personal liability protection, what you can do to lawfully keep more of what you earn. I have several people who are in these positions, Mike, to where they're older, who they're having to take these distributions of their gold assets, and they're having to then pay fiat on the 2.5% distribution because they're 72 and a half years old. Mike, it's crazy, but we can help there. So just give me the opportunity to further educate you. And these things, it literally indeed is what the elites have been doing forever. This is just accessible to you and me, Mike.
All right. The website is my575e.com. That's your site, and you're focused on UNAs, which are unincorporated nonprofit associations, correct?
And by the way, we were talking about crypto. If you are into crypto, you need to have a conversation with me so I can tell you how you can, well, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah, I concur, because I know exactly what you're thinking. If you're buying and selling crypto without a UNA, you are just flushing money down the toilet.
Yep.
The other thing that's, I think, really important about this too is that you can start a UNA right now. You can transfer or donate assets to it.
Yes.
And it doesn't cost you anything for transferring assets, but then you gain protection with those assets or for those assets. So if you have gold, if you have silver, how are you going to protect those?
That's right.
And, against whatever, lawsuits, confiscation, things like that. So check out Todd's website, everybody, my575e.com. And let me also mention Gerald's website again, trendsjournal.com, and remind you that the discount code Ranger will get you 10% off his subscription. And that brings it down to $2.50 a week, which is like you can't buy anything for $2.50 a week now, can you?
Mike, we have our little break in between our interview and our after party. And before you said, Todd, that I could hear you to come back, I was in the process of subscribing to Trends Journal. Oh,
yeah.
and I will complete that after we get off here shortly.
It's a must-read journal. It saves you so much time compared to like trying to find all the news yourself. Just read the journal once a week, and he just nails it, lays it all out.
So it's a weekly publication?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and it's all digital?
Yeah, you log in and you download the PDFs.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you can still print it out and at your own leisure, just if you want. I like reading.
Totally.
Okay, that's cool.
Or like I do, I convert the PDF to text and I feed the text into my Enoch AI engine.
Right.
Because I think Gerald's probably okay with this. I didn't ask him for permission, but I am training our AI engine on all the trends journals that I've received since I subscribed, which was like over a year ago.
Wow.
I don't think Gerald would mind. It's actually helping to promote his journal as a source.
It is. Yeah. I love that. How is that project going, Mike? Well, I can't wait.
We had a setback, but we've recovered. The setback was that our engineers
took the jab.
They did. We have teams of engineers in many different countries, including the U.S., but also other countries around the world. And this one team that was working on that project, we lost 3 engineers from that team in the same week. And it was all, I think it's related to jabs. But understand that in other countries, the jabs weren't optional. Mm-hmm. They really forced them on people in many different countries, especially, communist countries, right?
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know Vietnam is a communist country. Mm-hmm. So, there's one example. But, we've lost a lot of engineers because of sickness and medical issues. Yeah. And so we had to bring in a new team. So we're back on track with that, but we've undergone some many delays in rolling out, not the engine. Like the engine's been done for months. I'm using the engine every day behind the scenes. What we're rolling out is the public interface and how to avoid hacking or fraud attempts, how we make it free to people. But there's also there's some rate limiting at the free tier. So we can't have like one person come in and dominate and take all the engine time and then nobody else can access it, right? So we have rate limiting. So we have to know like what IP address is logging in or using it right now. And so there's a limit,
Is there going to be a world where I don't mind paying a fee to be able to have full-on access to this thing? Or is it always just going to be free and it's going to be regulated based upon equity?
Todd, you'll always have VIP access, so don't worry about that. There's much more open access for our store customers who have access to larger engines as well. But our philosophy is we will never charge for access to the engine. We will never charge a fee because, I committed that it's going to be non-commercial, no advertising, free to use. And even the rate limiting will be relaxed more and more over time as we get a better sense of how much demand there is and as we have enough internal financial support to be able to expand the servers that are running it. And also as NVIDIA ships more of their Blackwell chips.
Right.
If they ship this unit called Spark, which is only $4,000 and it replaces like 35 GPU workstations.
Amazing.
If we can get our hands on one of those Spark units and run it on that, then we can increase the rate limits by a factor of 100.
Wow. Yeah.
So some of it's just going to we have to wait for the hardware to come and catch up. But our commitment, and by the way, the website is Brighteon.ai if people want to go there. I'll bring it up here. our commitment is that it's going to be free of charge. You'll never have to pay to have access to our Brighteon AI system. Always free.
Okay.
So
I know everything you put into this, and I have a sneaky suspicion I have a good idea of financially how much you put into it. And I am grateful, and the world should be grateful. And I'm sure we'll be grateful. I'm just sitting here. My calculus is, those of us don't mind supporting. So maybe it's not a pay to play, but certainly I hope there is a way for people to be able to donate and be able to say thank you for this amazing engine that's helping me so much. I hope that.
Let me give this. Hold on, let me bring this up. If people go to brighteonuniversity.com, all spelled out, then they can find the program there that you and I just released, which is called Breaking the Chains. Let me see if I just search for chains. Let me see if that comes up. Yeah, Breaking the Chains, Decentralize Your Life. Here it is.
Yep.
People can purchase that entire program right here for $129. You get the download of everything that you and I did, Todd, all the guests we interviewed, all your bonus material, everything. If people want to support us, that's the simplest way to do it. Again, brighteonuniversity.com, search for chains or Breaking the Chains right here, and then purchase that program, download all the digital assets. You'll be helping us fund things like the Brighteon AI engine.
Thank you for bringing that up. And I just want to also let people know, I don't think, as we have promoted that previously, that we really presented fairly all of the bonus material that you get when you do purchase that you didn't get with the free streaming. And man, oh man, the people who have, because I have a lot of people in the private Telegram group, because that's one of the things when you acquire UNA, you get invited into that very wonderful, beautiful, exclusive group of non-NPCs. And many of them have bought the series, and that's the feedback I'm getting is just people are laughing about the bonus materials, laughing in a good way, like, wow.
Oh yeah, it's so valuable. Yeah. The on-site videos, your tour, the food forest, the special reports, the PDFs, all of it. It's all.
And the interview with you. Interview with you. That
was fun.
3-hour interview. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope people really consider that. You will get more than your money's worth by supporting us. But yeah, Mike, you are a force of nature, and thank you for arranging this with Gerald today. And he was amazing. Can't wait to speak with him in the future again.
He is. He's absolutely amazing. And hey, before we go though, Todd, I want to ask you this. So right now, you and I both agree privacy crypto is the preferred version of crypto because Bitcoin, is just, it's like walking around naked all the time. Everybody can see everything, right?
Right.
Monero, did you see that Monero, which is probably the #1 volume cryptocurrency, right. Did you see that Monero, since the European Union announced that they're going to crack down on privacy crypto, they're going to outlaw Monero, actually so many people then jumped into Monero that Monero went up. I mean, it was approaching $400.
I know. It's been great.
I'll bring up the pricing, but isn't this amazing? Because Monero is so private and other privacy crypto that we talk about, they are truly private. No government can actually know if you own any. So people are jumping into it.
Absolutely. And you know about these unrealized gains that are going to pick up speed. They are going to target all of crypto. And if you are into BTC or any of these surveillance coins and you're not into privacy crypto, they're going to be able to know exactly how much you own. And believe me, they spend billions of dollars per year analyzing that. And so you're going to be on the hook with the Druid Babylonian bastards with your unrealized capital gains. And unless you figure out private crypto, then it's on you. And then I add an extra bit of protection with a UNA. and the strategy that I help everyone with, Mike, you know what it is with Kraken and such. And, we don't have to give everything unto Caesar just because they say so. So
That's
just
right.
be smart out there.
That's right. I completely agree. And I brought up the screen here on Monero. It did surpass 400. It's settled somewhat back at 335, it looks like right now. But look at the upward trend. And the thing is, we've interviewed founders. We've talked about different privacy crypto coins, Firo, Xano, Epic, Monero, other projects. The thing is, what I love about these is that literally no one knows how much you have. They don't know how you use it. They don't know how you spend it. I personally donate crypto to people that are in independent media. I don't even brag about like who it is or how much. It's nobody's business. But I tell people, like I have people reach out to me quite a bit and say, hey, could you help sponsor like this trip to go someplace? I'm going to go do this thing. And I'm like, yeah, great. You got to have a privacy crypto wallet because that's the only way I'm sending you funds, period.
I've had several people come to me and say, hey, can I acquire a UNA with crypto? And I'm like, is it privacy crypto? Yeah. Yes.
The answer is yes. Right.
By the way, one of the wonderful bonus material that you get with breaking the chains is we hired this consultant and he shows you how to be able to take $1,000 of fiat and be able to privately get it into your own private wallet after going through non-KYC exchanges to be able to. It's amazing. So that alone is
invaluable.
Price of admission. Yeah, it'll at least be the starter for you, even if and we did that because we wanted it to be for somebody who didn't know a thing about crypto.
See that, and that's so valuable because Bitcoin is not actually fully fungible because Bitcoin that's not attached to your identity is more valuable than Bitcoin that is attached to your identity. Right?
Yeah.
And Bitcoin has a history of where it came from. Some of it back to the Silk Road, so it's tainted. Privacy crypto has no memory of where it came from. There's no history. There's no way to find out whether it's tied to you or somebody else. It's just like cash. Like
that's right.
If I'm given $100 bill by, or let's say, by my bank. Let's say I'm taking money out of the bank or an ATM. The ATM spits out a $100 bill, let's say. Did that $100 bill, like a month ago, was it used in a drug deal to buy cocaine?
Right.
Who knows? Nobody cares. It doesn't matter because the $100 bill doesn't have a memory. It can't be traced back to the cocaine and hookers deal that happened a month ago. It's none of my business.
And Mike, somebody could go to Coinbase and they could buy $1,000 of Bitcoin, and then they can do the smart thing and actually get a privacy wallet. And there are a couple that we recommend that are really, really good where there's no KYC involved. Yeah. And you can send that BTC to your private wallet, right? Bad idea, Mike, because your social security number is associated with crypto exchange. But we teach you in that tutorial on how to be able to go buy USDT on any KYC exchange. And then we tell you where to send it. That is a non-KYC private exchange where you can exchange it for Monero, BTC, other USDT. Basically, I'll say the word wash it. There's nothing unlawful about it, but it's basically taking it from that tracked BTC to non-trackable BTC, and then you get it into your privacy wallet. We teach you those things. It's called operational privacy, and it's available to you with the series.
That's really smart. And again, I just want to reiterate that we advocate for the ethical, moral, honest use of crypto. Right.
Everything, Mike.
Yeah.
We think you should be able to keep more of what you earn. That's
right. We're not advocating, drug money or anything like that. I what I was talking earlier about, like $100 bill that might have been used in a hooker cocaine drug deal with Zelensky, maybe, a few weeks ago. Hey, U.S. dollars are used in drug deals more than any other currency in the world.
Absolutely.
But you don't hear the media attacking, $100 bills for that reason. No, they're attacking Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin might be used to launder money. Are you kidding me? How about mainstream banks are used to launder money?
That's it.
HSBC. I mean, the whole history of money laundering, drug cartel money with cash through the mainstream banks. Are you kidding me? Money laundering is that's business that banks are in. Money laundering.
It's so true.
And the Treasury. Treasury's a giant money laundering criminal cartel operation. Are you kidding me?
Mike, after U.S. aid and what has been uncovered there, if anybody out there can even stomach the notion that, our taxes are being used for our benefit, come on, wake up, please. It's just all one giant money laundering scheme.
Yeah.
None of it's lawful, everybody.
No, it's really not. And that's why the dollar is being destroyed.
Yes.
And that's why you better take precautions right now. Subscribe to Trends Journal. Learn about crypto. Buy the Breaking the Chains course. If you want a step-by-step how to get into privacy crypto without compromising your identity, that's how you do it. And what's the cost? $129.
Right.
Before long, that's going to be the price of a steak.
It's true. True.
Yeah.
And I did want to say one of the things that didn't really get to ask Gerald about, and I know we're wrapping things up here, but I do want people to, we need to be mindful that many people are trapped in these centralized systems, as I'd said, and out of necessity, jobs, healthcare, et cetera. So we recognize it's just not so easy to be able to say, well, you should be getting into real estate, or you should be getting into gold or precious metals, or what. Some people can't make ends meet at the end of every month. So I just want to be a proponent and advocate of keep more of what you earn. There are strategies for that. But then when you do, or as you do have some discretionary savings, you don't have to just dollar cost average into it. Mike, talk about how they can acquire gold through you. You make it very easy, right? But I wanted to be able to make it easy for people to get into private crypto,
right?
But that's the key. You don't have to do a lot. It's like just a little every month. And what you'll find is after a few years, you'll step back and you'll say, wow, I didn't even miss it.
That's right. That's right. And then you'll have real value when the day comes that the dollar is just going into hyperinflation collapse. You'll have all this value set aside that will save you. All right. One last thing we got to do, Todd. The last time we did a show, you and I did a 1, 2, 3 count, and then we did we did a funny expression, right?
Yeah.
And then my editor actually used that for the thumbnail. It was pretty funny. We got to do another one today.
All right.
So think of an expression. All right. And we'll do 3, 2, 1, go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
We're goofballs.
My dog's like, was that for me? Was that me? He's over here now. He just got up. All right. You're happy with that one?
I'm happy. It's going to look goofy no matter what, but we love you out there, everyone. We hope you love us too, even in our after parties. A couple of goofballs, but man, we've done this for over 2 years now, Mike.
That's true. That is true. And I think we've reached and helped a lot of people, and we want to thank everybody for your support. And if you want to check out all the other shows, just go to decentralized.tv, and all the episodes are right there free of charge. You can watch them all, enjoy them all, learn from every single one of them. And thank you for supporting our sponsors and Todd's UNA website there and that offering, and also trendsjournal.com and everything that we do at Brighteon.ai and Brighteon.com, all of it. We appreciate all your support, everybody. So thanks for watching today, and thank you, Todd, for being here. It's been fun.
You bet. And as far as Gerald goes, Amen and A women.
All right. All right. Sounds great.
Have a great weekend. Thanks, Mike.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you again on the next episode of Decentralized.tv. Take care. Thank you for supporting us at healthrangerstore.com. And we've got a new batch of turmeric in stock now. After a long search, the supply chains are really becoming more difficult. And turmeric, as you know, is often contaminated with lead. So, of course, we do mass spec elemental testing for lead, cadmium, arsenic, mercury, and other elements. We found an ultra clean batch and we have it available for you now. I have it on my desk. We've got turmeric root powder. Certified organic, laboratory tested, identity confirmed, all that, E. coli tested, microbiology, you name it. We've got it all for you at healthrangerstore.com. We do not have turmeric tincture back in stock. We're working on that, but we do have the turmeric root powder. And as you know, I include turmeric root powder in my own smoothie, which is why it's orange. It's why my dental work turns orange, which freaks out the dental hygienist as well. But that's another story. Okay, so if you want really good, high-quality, ultra-clean turmeric root powder, we've got it now, healthrangerstore.com. We also have, there's the screen showing it to you. We also have astaxanthin. Hawaiian astaxanthin, we have it right now in stock. Of course, this is known as the king of carotenoids. This is a fat-soluble, super potent antioxidant. And it's got a multitude of uses and benefits and support mechanisms for human health. Athletes use it. Lots of people use it. This is also what turns the flesh of salmon slightly pink. That's actually the astaxanthin that they're getting from their dietary sources. And it's believed to help support the natural athleticism and the endurance and stamina of salmon. That's just one of the many benefits of the king of carotenoids. Now, astaxanthin is in a dark bottle because it's sensitive to light, but it's very potent. You only need either 2 or 4 milligrams per day. We've got that available for you right now, healthrangerstore.com. We also have a supply of NAC in stock, N-acetylcysteine, which of course helps support the body's normal detoxification process with outstanding liver support and glutathione and so much more. So check it all out at healthrangerstore.com. Turmeric root powder, astaxanthin capsules, as well as NAC, all in stock right now, plus hundreds of other items that are also certified organic, laboratory tested, non-GMO. And we don't use synthetic, colors, fragrances, fillers, garbage, none of that stuff. Nothing like that. Ultra clean products for home, for health, for personal care, for nutrition, and also for long-term food storage, for emergency preparedness. Check it all out at healthrangerstore.com. And thank you for your support. We appreciate you very much. We couldn't do this without you. Thanks for watching. Take care.